Dawn Michelle and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another one-shot reading. So in case you're new to this series, let me quickly go over the idea. So this term was borrowed from the D&D community, where a one-shot is like a self-contained game designed to be played in a single session. So with that in mind, my one-shot readings are those that are completely independent and stand apart from my normal practices. So most of the time I just grab a few decks that I'm interested in working with and throw some cards down and see what happens. So that is what we're going to do. Today we're going to be doing a one-shot reading with the Moon Power Tarot, which is a new deck that's just come into my collection not too long ago. I'm slowly collecting all of this creator's decks, I think. I have 3 of them now. I think there's maybe like 5 total, so we'll see. But anyway, this one came in, and when I was doing an unboxing, basically a hangout with my members, every month I do a coffee and cards with my members where I take all the decks that I've acquired over the last month, and then we open them all together. Last month we did it as a live chat, which was really fun, and we were just hanging out and looking at cards and chatting, and I was like, I feel like I need to do some pairings with this. So I pulled out the Reclaim Oracle, I pulled out some others, and we did a little sort of impromptu playing with pairs. And then one of my members mentioned that the Modern Nirvana might be a good fit for this little mix as well. So that's what we're going to try today. Again, I have no spreads, no positions. It's just a one shot, throwing cards on the table and see what happens. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so the first thing that I like to do when I'm sort of prepping for a one-shot reading is just sit here and kind of give all of my decks a good shuffle, just to kind of clear off anything that might be hanging around from the last readings I did. This, again, is the Moon Power Tarot. It's a gorgeous deck. I love this deck. I've actually been using it quite a bit the last week. It's been hanging out with me. It was hanging out with me while I spent some time down sick, and I am loving it. It's very glossy and very slippy, but it shuffles like a dream. The silvery is kind of like, it's a little bit coming off of my hands, but that will stop after a while. It's a nice, like, soft gilding, so I don't mind it. Y'all know I'm not a fan of shiny gilding in general. I'm just not a fan of metallics unless they're going to be matte metallics. But these decks they're beautifully produced, so I don't have any problem working with them. Okay, so we're gonna just give that one a shuffle. Let's give the Reclaimed Oracle a shuffle. So this is a deck that I haven't worked with very much either, because this deck is a lot, man. This deck is very pokey. It's definitely, here's the backs. It's definitely a challenging deck to work with sometimes. Now this has beautiful matte black gilding, which is now going to have silver sparkles all over it. It is, because there's a lot of cards, and it is kind of that rose petally finish. It is a bit difficult for me to shuffle. But you can see here that I can kind of make it work with just doing some piles, right? I do have very small hands, so shuffling for me can often be a thing anyway. I love the size of this deck, though. It's like a little bit more square than a traditional tarot. It's like traditional oracle size, but shrunk down, and I think it's great. All right, so just give those a little shuffle. Now we're going to pull out the Modern Nirvana. This is a deck that I've used quite a bit. I really like this deck. Here's the backs of these. It's definitely got, I think, the same kind of energy that might sit in alignment. Look at that. Even the backs go together. How pretty is that? So let's go ahead and get into the reading. I'm actually going to start with the Reclaim Oracle. So I'm going to move these ones out of the way for a hot minute. I kind of have, even though I always say, like, I don't have a spread, right? And that is true. I don't have a spread with, like, fixed positions or anything like that. But generally when I sit down to do a one-shot reading, and, like, let's be honest, like, this is just a general reading, right? Anytime you do a reading that, like, sits outside of a particular structure or practice, like, it's not a moon reading, it's not a deity reading, it's not a month ahead reading, it's not even a what do I need to know to, you know, carry with me throughout my day. Like, it's literally just a reading of just whatever in the moment. And by not having any sort of preconceived ideas coming into it in terms of what the reading is about. For me, it really opens up the reading to be about whatever it is that I need to step forward. Because a lot of times when I'm doing readings, like I'll come in with a certain idea, but that's not really what I need to know, right? That's not really what I need to be focusing on. So I love these one-shots because they kind of take that out of it, because I come into the reading knowing that like it's just going to be whatever it's going to be, and I've got no preconceived notions. However, what I do usually have is some sort of a vague idea of like how I want the structure of the reading to go. And by that, I mean, like, am I going to have a focal point, and what card's going to be in that focal point? And then that's usually where I start. Most of my readings, if you've watched my one-shots before, I almost always have some sort of a focal point and anchor, something in the center of the reading that kind of holds or contains the essence of what else is going to be going on within the reading. And that's just kind of my preferred reading style, so it tends to happen in all of my readings. So I decided that I wanted the Reclaim Oracle as that centerpiece, mostly because I only want one card from this deck. More than that feels like a lot at this point, because this is a very pokey deck, and I want to make sure that I'm doing things that are in alignment with where I'm at energetically, and where, you know, my current mental and emotional landscape is sitting. So let's go ahead and pull one from the Reclaimed and see what we get. So we got Stability. Okay, so that's a good one. Like, it's not pokey, right? Not pokey. I love when I do black on black, but y'all, black is my jam. Okay, so Stability. That is what this reading is now going to be about. I'm letting the Oracle deck, or whatever, the focus card, kind of determine what the reading is going to be about. Okay, so I'm feeling like Stability. I feel like that needs to be up there. And now I'm feeling like everything that I layer underneath of it needs to be what's going to support that stability. So I guess I kind of do end up creating sort of spread positions as I go, but I don't have them. They're not predetermined. That's why it's like a one-shot. It's like when you go into a dungeon, you don't really know what's going to happen. You know what you are capable of, you know what your character can do, and you know what your party can do, right? So in this sense, let's go with the D&D analogy. In this sense, you know, I'm me as my character coming into this dungeon, and the decks are my party. These are my party members. So the Reclaim Oracle, the Moon Power Tarot, and the Modern Nirvana are all in my party. They're like the little characters that are going to help me make my way through this dungeon, right? So that's kind of where the thought process behind the one-shot reading also takes me, as these are all decks that I've chosen to support me on this little journey that I'm going on today, right? This little one-shot adventure. Okay, so I'm feeling like Stability, that's like the core. That's like our little team leader here, right? Our little party leader. And I'm feeling like everything needs to be laid underneath it. And I want to know kind of like what's underneath the root of that stability. So I'm actually going to use the Modern Nirvana for that. Because sometimes Oracle, for me, it's when I'm looking at very specific things, sometimes Oracle works better because like it often tends to be very specific. So we got Assertiveness. Look how cool that is. So underneath that stability is this need for assertiveness. We'll get into the guidebooks too, because again, like if I say all the time, I want to normalize using that guidebooks. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what they're there for. As I often say, I don't want to be beholden to the guidebook, but I want to be able to make use of it when it makes sense for me in my reading. So, being a bad shuffler right this 5 minutes. Okay, so we have stability with assertiveness underneath it. That assertiveness is what is going to fully support the stability. So now I'm going to pull the Moon Power Tarot around it just to kind of give me some context about where this energy might be showing up in my life. Maybe what it's speaking to, maybe what it's where it's directing me, or where it's encouraging me to direct my energy. Again, I don't really have spread positions, and I can't tell you what this is actually like in regards to at this moment, but usually by the end of the reading, I usually have a pretty good idea. All right, so let's pull. Okay, that one just flipped out, so we'll go with it. I'm feeling like I want one there. So the Four of Swords, I mean, that's pretty cool. And the Page of Pentacles. Okay, I'm liking that. So now I have this assertiveness, but this reminder that like assertiveness does not necessarily mean like going out and doing all the things all the time, right? because I'm trying to cultivate that stability. And to do that, I need this Four of Swords. I need that time to reflect and to sit in certain energies, or to sit in the work that I'm doing, or whatever it is, to sit in the landscape of where I'm at in order to create this assertiveness. And then maybe that's what will give me this energy that I need with this Page of Pentacles to be able to really move forward with things. This layout, you'll probably see me do it a lot because this is like one of my favorites, and I like to layer things in this way. But I'm feeling like I need a bit of another energy pulling in here. Okay, so I'm going to pull in this Into the Mystic Pocket Oracle. And I do apologize because this one is out of print. But, y'all, I got to go with what I'm feeling in the moment. And this one just popped into my brain as it needs to be in here. I don't know if it's because of all the pink. Well, really, there's just pink here and pink here. And then kind of a black and white blue thing going on. I'm pretty sure this is out of print. It's very sad because I love this little oracle deck. It's amazing. I use it a lot. So I'm feeling like I need two little like messages beneath each of these. So with the Four of Swords, look for hidden patterns. Now the art style isn't quite the same because this is a digital collage and these are drawn, but I feel like it's energetically going to fit really well in here. And then beneath that Page of Pentacles, have patience and wait. Interesting. I almost feel like these are backwards, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it should be look for the hidden patterns with the Page of Pentacles and have patience and wait with the Four of Swords. But here's a really interesting thing about them happening this way. I feel like this is a reminder that these two things are not separate. They are interconnected. So this Page of Pentacles feels like it's connected to this Four of Swords, feels like it's connected to this look for hidden patterns, right? And connected to this have patience and wait, which is all grounded and rooted in this stability with assertiveness. So it's interesting because while I feel like they would be better served this way, right? It would make more sense if I had the Four of Swords with have patience and wait. But I love that they showed up this way because it reminds me that these things do not exist in a vacuum, right? That these things are all intermingled together. Also, I'm seeing kind of like lots of portal-y energy here. This is making me think of portal, as is this, as is this, as is even the pentacle here. So I'm getting lots of portal energy, which is fantastic. I'm liking this. It's telling me like that I need to be assertive and do the things that I want to do, but I also need to maintain that balance that I so desperately need in order to keep myself stable, in order to keep myself healthy and whole. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna pull another deck in. Oh my goodness. We're doing all the decks today. This is another thing I love about a one-shot reading because it allows me to do stuff like this, where I just get excited and play with decks. Okay, so I recently got this from Roots to Blooms. This was a deck that was sent to me for review, and it's another one that I also opened with my members. So I'm gonna do a thing with this because here's the beautiful backs. I really love this deck. It's kind of like an affirmation deck. It has, it so matches my aesthetic though too, a little bit of a system to it. And so you can see here that there's some cards that are green and black, and they have things like soil, and they have like 3 keywords. I'm keeping these separate because there's a thing I want to do with these. And then we have these cards, which are all the numbered cards in the black and white. So I'm actually going to keep these out separate because there's things I want to do with them. And I'm going to give these a shuffle because I haven't shuffled these yet. I just looked through them with my members. Oh, this cardstock, y'all. It's gorgeous. It is beautifully flexible, gorgeous linen, shuffles like a dream. Love it. I was saying when I was chatting with my members while we were looking through this deck that this deck feels like something I would have created. It feels like stuff that shows up in my journals, and I just absolutely love that. Love that. So I'm feeling like I want 2 messages. I'm going to do one on each side. Your sensuality is sacred, not shameful. Okay, interesting. That now changes the whole context of this reading, right? Isn't that cool how that happens? It was one reading, and then I pulled this, and now I feel like it's a different reading. Okay, and I'm going to pull one for the other side. And it's okay living a life that others don't get. I mean, how perfect is that? How perfect is that? I love that. Okay, so sensuality is not necessarily, for me, it's not necessarily just about sex, right? Sensuality for me is about inhabiting self in a very authentic way. And this is really interesting considering some of the work that I've been doing, the divine feminine archetypes that I've been working with currently. And this is a key message in that. So what this little message is telling me is that I'm on the right path with all of that I need to continue to do this work because it is providing me that stability that I need. It's creating this balance between all of these energies. And over here, I've got it's okay if others don't get it, right? That for me, especially when you're like a content creator and you're doing things that you're like, I don't know if anybody's going to get this. I don't know if it's going to make any sense, but like it makes sense to you and it's okay if it works for you and it doesn't need to make sense to anybody else. Check out this reading. How cool is that? I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay, so I did say I wanted to just quickly check out the guidebooks for the oracles. There isn't a guidebook for the Moon Power Tarot, but like it's a tarot, so I don't really feel like I need one. But let's check out the entry for stability. Okay, so it says, stability is finding peace among the storms that rage in the night. It's pausing to collect my thoughts and my urges, taking notice of my breath and the wind gushing through my hair, tangling and knotting away. It's undoing these knots calmly and with purpose, knowing that the peace that lies beneath cannot be taken from me. That's amazing. I love it. It's a great energy for this stability here that I've got going on. Okay, let's get into the Modern Nirvana and see what it has to say. So assertiveness. This one's quite a bit lengthier, so I don't know if I'll read it all, but it says, there will be many times in life when we are met with lessons, challenges, and moments that may test our ability to keep courage through conflict and maintain balance in the metaphorical wobble of the earth. Uncertainty can be a source of insecurity. In situations we are unable to control, we may find ourselves defaulting to what feels comfortable, such as staying quiet or retreating into thought loops of the worst-case scenarios. Perhaps you diminish your light out of fear that you may burn too bright or blind others with your truth. Again, reading from the guidebooks kind of gives even a little bit more of a specific lens through which to view this, because now this is feeling like maybe sometimes I am holding myself back because some of the things that maybe I want to do or say won't be something that others get, but that's okay. Let's jump over here to the end. Learning how to embody assertiveness will allow you to know that the unknown isn't to be feared, but instead can remind you of your greatness and the greatness you can bring to the world of your own creation. This world is yours to design and participate in, and your myth is your magic. I love that. Your myth is your magic. That's amazing. I do love this guidebook. Again, that just really reinforces what we've been looking at through the whole of this reading. Also, the little pocket oracle doesn't have a guidebook either, but again, I don't feel like I really need one. All right, so just even a little bit more context. Let's go look at the From Roots to Blooms. And I love it says, let's dig a little deeper. It's so cute. Okay, so for your sensuality is sacred, not shameful. It says sensuality encompasses more than just sexual, physical sensation or experiences. Yes. It's the harmonious dance between our senses, emotions, and spirit that may be communicated through art, movement, intimacy, and other means that ignite the soul. I love that. Our sensuality is a fundamental component of who we are and a vital aspect of the human experience. It's not something to be ashamed of or suppressed, but rather cherished and celebrated. Release any conditioning from your past that has labeled sensuality as shameful or wrong. Instead, honor your unique expression of it as a source of joy, pleasure, and self-discovery. Beautiful. All right, let's pop over to as kind of how I see it as well. So it's okay living a life that others don't get. Honor your dreams and desires, passions and interests, preferences, and creativity. You don't have to defend your choices in life to anyone, including your family and loved ones, friends, colleagues, and even society at large. It's all right to disregard conventional assumptions about what you should or could be doing with your life. Learn to respect your decisions and set boundaries around what you permit others to judge or criticize. I love that. Detach from the expectations of others and discover the ultimate freedom to accept what makes you uniquely you. What a great message. What a great reading. Really feels very empowered, very like step into who you are, do your own thing. It's okay. Nobody's like judging you. And if they are, that's their business, not yours, right? So I love this reading. I think it's really what I needed, especially as I've been personally like, struggling with some content creation stuff, struggling with putting things out there in a way that feels very authentic to me while still being mindful of what I create for others. That is a delicate balance, and I think that's really reflected here, and so I love that. Oh, y'all, I lied. There is a little book with the Moon Power Tarot. And I probably should have looked into it because like it's super cute. I'm a liar, liar, pants on fire. So there's a story for the majors, and then it looks like keywords for the minors. So that's pretty cool. So there we go. That's another of my one-shot readings done. That was a really, really great one. As usual, I started with 3 decks and ended up adding more. So I ended up using the Moon Power Tarot, which is an indie tarot deck still available, from Roots to Blooms. This is an indie oracle. I'm pretty sure this one is still available, but I'll definitely double check. The Into the Mystic Pocket Oracle. I think this one is out of print, but again, I will double check. The Reclaim, which is an indie oracle, and the Modern Nirvana, which is a mass market oracle. Highly recommend all of these decks. They're amazing, and I've really enjoyed working with them together. I think they all came together in this really beautiful, empowered reading. And I love when I sit down with, like, you know, just a handful of decks, and I just end up bringing more in. It really reminds me of why I like to have so many decks, because I have that opportunity to do that now. There's like a certain energy that I'm trying to pull in, and most of the time I can find something in my collection that will hit that spot, and so I can bring it into the reading. And obviously, as we saw, like, it's nothing that I set out to do because I didn't have this one or this one out on the table originally, but I love that I was able to pull them in, and it really added more depth and layer to the reading, so that was really fun. So anyway, that was a really fun one. Also a really, really great message that I feel like I personally needed in this moment. I would love to know if you have any of these decks, what you think about them, if they're a part of your collection and how you found working with them. Definitely let me know in the comments below. As always, you'll find links for everything I've shown here in the description box of this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.